Hi, this is Lauren Perry from Noyce Scholars. I am talking about my school visit that I went to in mid-February with Ben Wyma. It was at Otto Middle School, and I was able to spend most of the morning with him, and it was really great. I visited his ancient civilization class for the first 2 hours, first period, and then second hour was honors. And it was actually a half day, so the attendance I remember was a little bit lower, but overall he says that his students are there, the majority of the time, and it seemed like just a great class in general. And then I was also there for his planning period. So when I got there in the morning, I was really impressed at how friendly the kids were. They all had to wait outside of the school before the bell rang. And there was one kid that came up to me and asked if I knew where I was going, and I said, no. Wait, why don't you show me where the main office is? So that was a good experience to start off the day. And then I got there before class started, and Ben showed me these worksheets that they were pretty interesting. They were called SNAP suspension sheets that are used for kids that have had issues in the past in the classroom. And basically, if a certain number of checks, from what I understand, aren't met, or if they're having a certain number of issues that day, like not prepared, didn't bring a pencil, interrupting class, then basically they're just suspended out of the classroom like that, and there's no exceptions. The kids know this, and there was only worksheets for kids that had had problems in the past. But besides that, since it was a half day, they were watching a movie on Alexander the Great. And so it wasn't too much of seeing Ben teach in front of the class, but I mean, I did get to see a couple interactions, which still, was important to me. But basically, I did notice something kind of interesting between the way he taught the first and second periods, and I wish that they were kind of more similar, honestly. Well, first period, since it wasn't honors, they were doing their worksheet. They had to watch the video and fill in the blanks as the questions came along, and he did a couple prompts like, oh, there's this question coming up soon, but basically, like, I think the kids were kind of like just filling it out to fill it out, but weren't really paying attention to the video. Like, for example, the kids were like, wait, what was the answer? And it's like they were just writing it down to get the answer, not really containing that information that they weren't learning too much, in my opinion. But then second hour, it was a lot better because he was pausing the video and kind of like actively engaging the students, having them talk about it, and they didn't get as far. So it was kind of like this quantity versus quality thing. Like, do you want them to get through the video further and get all the questions down, or do you want them to understand less things better? So I liked how he did the second hour and a little bit more. I'm not sure if that was because they are honors, and I just hope that he holds those two classes to the same standards. And then basically during the planning period, we were looking at different types of worksheets that he had made, and Ben had been fortunate enough to be lead teaching this entire year, which is, not normal for interns. So he has made like these really wonderful worksheets, some great Venn diagrams he showed me, and all this work that, students, like telling me personal stories about the students, like, oh, this student was having issues before, and then, we talked about, there was an issue with a student almost actually like getting angry enough to hit him, and then he sat down with the student one-on-one, and then the next week, like, his work was just so improved, his attitude was so improved, so that was really cool to see. And I was looking at his worksheets of this particular student, and I was like, wow, I mean, this handwriting, the quality is like college work, and this is in middle school. So it was just cool to hear how relationship, even as an intern, can make such a difference with a student in their experience in just 1 hour. And then also talking about like parent communication, there was a couple things that were concerning to me about how he, and this isn't Ben's fault, but it was just like, wow, you don't really know what to do until you're there, about just how kids have had, they have like, different types of special things like issues or a disability, and he didn't know about certain things until they came up. You know, like a couple of his kids are diabetic, and like I think he kind of found out as he went, and I think that's something that maybe like you should address in the beginning. Like I don't know if it's either a worksheet or, you know, trying to get the files on these kids, but just knowing, you know, which kids need to go to the office or go to the bathroom for certain reasons, so that you can make sure that they're safe. It's just important. And there was an issue where a girl had to go to the bathroom for some personal reasons, and you know, it wasn't the right time for the class, and later a parent got mad at Ben for this. And so just to be able to protect yourself is important. So maybe we talked about getting to know your students with, and the parents at the beginning of the year, like different strategies with that, like making a worksheet that they can, a parent can fill out and say, is it, you know, any more comments that they want the teacher to know about. And, you know, if they do have some personal things that they choose not to share, then, and it comes across later, then that's, you know, kind of their fault that they didn't want to share that. But basically I got some insights about the internship year, and it was really great to see that middle school setting. And it just made me excited to, you know, for my internship year in 2 years to get there, and I hope that I get placed in a middle school. And I just want to thank Ben for allowing me to visit, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye.